Alright, this is Nick T Magic coming at you guys with another deck tech. This time of my Kenrith Mazes and Gates deck. We'll start off with those gates. 21 of them in total. I only need to get 10 of them out for this win con. I do have alternate win cons in here, and not all gates are created equal, but yeah, with 21 of them total and a lot of land draw, that should be able to get there. Also, honorable mention to our 22nd gate. Thespian Stage can copy a gate, and it becomes a copy of it, so it becomes another gate. Utility lands. One of the alternate wins cons is if I just start going ham on getting lands out, I can just build a zombie army and win. Utility land. I love this guy for being able to become a copy of Lantern to let my lands tap for anything, or any of my other utility artifacts that you'll see later. I do have some card draw, do have to worry about that, and then just some utility lands in the back. So that's part one of my Kenrith Mazes in deck tech. On to the next part. For part two of my Kenrith Mazes in deck tech, start off with the Planeswalkers. I only have 2 of them in here at the time. Ren 7 and Nissa both have kind of searching for lands abilities that are easy to fire off. And the Nissa one with the X is kind of cool because if I've already got a bunch of lands out, I can get her out for big and do some crazy stuff with her. And then enchantments. Play an extra land, slow my opponents down, making all their stuff come in tapped, unlike some of the things I have, which will allow my stuff to come in untapped. Do want to protect myself. You'll see that's a theme of the deck here in a minute. Gates Matter deck, one of the draw cards, as I mentioned before, and then Abundance, which if you know, has a combo with the next card you'll see. On to part 3 of my Kenrith Mazes in deck tech, and as I mentioned before, with the Abundance enchantment, this Cultivator Colossus can literally just dig out every land out of your deck, which is absolutely a win con that I've tried to pull off before. But yeah, the idea is that you Cultivator Colossus, playing a land, and then every time you would then go to draw a card to repeat the process, you call land with Abundance, finding yourself a land, and literally digging your entire deck out. But with the other creatures in this deck, Ram, because gates matter, Gate Colossus, because gates matter, Tiller Engine, to get all of my gates to come in untapped, along with Archelos. And then a bunch of creatures that look at the top of the deck and or let you play lands from the top of your deck. And some of them even let you do more things like gain a life for each land that comes into play, or go dig and make your opponent's stuff come into play tapped, or play more than one land. I love this guy because if you're not going turn 1, I can go turn 2, use his ability, go find my Mazes End, and just have that in hand. So because he lets you find any land, not a basic. Nissa, who technically becomes a Planeswalker and is able to find only forest though. That's why some of those utility lands exist. But once you flip her, her top ability lets you find just any land, which plays well into those other creatures I mentioned before that let you see the top of your deck. Lotus Cobra for the landfall triggers so that I can go crazy. Draw Engine and gain life seems appropriate in a lands deck. Another alternate win con, if I can just go nuts and Scoot Swarm. And I mean, those of you who play Magic Arena, I've seen this pop off before. I love this very specific Baldur's Gate gate card creature. Not a lot of people know of her. Not really useful for anything except for probably this kind of deck, but she very specifically digs out gates. Omnath for the landfall triggers and generating mana, and because sometimes you've just got to do it for the memes. All right, and on to the next part of my Kenrith Mazes and deck tech. On to the next part of my Kenrith Mazes and deck tech, going from Spore Frog to everything that the Spore Frog does over and over and over and over again. This is how my deck lives long enough to be able to get to all those gates. Now, some of these do things that are actually helpful. Like some of these let you get it back into your hand so you can do it multiple times. Some of these let you recast them again from the graveyard. Some of them do attacking creatures become blocked, as in like you don't even have to put up defenders. Some of these are just straight fog. But then some of these are prevent all damage, be it from combat or not. Some of them give your creatures hexproof, which may not even be, you're not even trying to defend damage. You just want to get your creatures hexproof for the turn. Shuffle graveyards into your deck. Become free if your commander is out. Gain life for each attacking creature. Gain life for each creature your opponent control, just in general. And then some utility instances, because of course Cyclonic Rift, put everything back, return all attacking creatures, every tutor that I could think of to make this deck work, find artifacts, enchantments to be able to make my things come in untapped, creature to possibly do the cultivator combo or anybody else I might need, and then just of course straight tutor. Being able to play extra lands, it goes with the deck, making my things hexproof and indestructible. Poor man's to fairy protection, anyone? And then some spot removal just in case, because you never know when you'll need it. All right, on to the last part of my Kenrith Mazes End deck tech. All right, last part, sorceries and artifacts of my Kenrith Mazes End deck tech. This awakening is pretty nuts because I can go fetch a bunch of lands, doesn't have to be basics, and Spell Mastery lets them come into play untapped even though they're gates. Additional land and draw card is always good, specifically searches up gates, and sneaky initiative card, mass removal, because again, I'm playing basically Pillow Fort, just trying to survive long enough to get my gates out. Same idea. With all those creatures that let me look at the top of my deck and stuff, I can do some funny shenanigans with him, making all my things come to play untapped. Of course, you need it for a Gates deck. I do like the idea of being able to replay things from the graveyard. So even if all has gone absolutely bad, maybe someone's done hand destruction, I can at least start to get things back. Of course, playing things from the graveyard, playing lands from the graveyard is important in case someone Field of Ruins my Maze's End or something. And then mana generator, mana generator, mana generator, and search for land. So then I can get that Maze's End. So last part of the Kenrith Maze's End deck tech. All right, this is Nick T Magic signing off.